and I know this is probably an hour fucking late, right? But the concept though, and why you two? Did you have a relationship before you got to Tennessee? Like,
No,
where did the concept come from?
It was fast.
Wasn't-
Taylor's quick now. He got married in 5 weeks with his wife, and it was about the same for our friendship.
Yeah.
He had me.
Bro, you got married in 5 weeks?
I got engaged in 5 weeks. I got married in 2 months.
You was sprung.
Huh?
You got
Yes.
sprung.
That was that making out. Was it 7
bro,
years?
there's
kissing- y'all were kissing
some
a lot?
passionate makeouts now. We've been married for 7 years, and all of a sudden, hey, you want to make out like high schoolers or what? She's like, no, go away. And I'm like, no, come on, get in here, and I'll
You
make
know how
her.
you got
I will
me?
make her make out with me. I love a good makeout,
but
dude. It's
it-
solid.
But that whole concept, I think, is a dope fucking concept. Like, how did it? Whose idea was it?
Will wanted to do the podcast, but our friendship, I thought I was getting a marriage arranged for myself, because when Will got signed by the Titans, there was an article that came out that said Taylor Lewan and Will Compton are going to be best friends. I was
Wait,
like, oh,
really?
fuck. I swear to
It
God.
was like somebody tweeted.
They were doing-
Somebody
there was a-
tweeted like, yo, Taylor and Will are going to be best friends or
Yeah.
something like that.
They had the blue check when the blue check meant something. And so I was like, oh shit, that's cool. And then he came in, and literally I think 3-4 days went by, and we were like boys immediately. We did like, Titans had a podcast, we did that podcast, and then we'd sit in the kitchen before practice and just talk about podcasts. Joe Rogan, Chris D'Elia's Congratulations, 2 Bears, 1 Cave, like the
Ben
Fighter of the Kid,
Greenfield, all
Ben
the
Greenfield,
recovery stuff,
biohacking
we
stuff.
we were accountability buddies.
Yeah, that was our thing.
So we did all the song, like all the stuff that helped you all the recovery stuff.
Right.
So, and then I was staying at a hotel at the time, so I was over at Taylor's daily pretty much. And then when we trained in the summer together, because my strength coach at Nebraska was now the strength coach at Vanderbilt, so we just used the Vanderbilt's facility, and we'd work out every day together and send each other like anything motivating or inspirational,
Hitting
all
the
that
cold
kind of
tub,
stuff,
dude.
man.
We
yeah.
literally, we did it all. And then after that 2018 season, Will was like, I want to do a podcast. I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then I dipped to California for 3 months to
Yeah.
go train. Because
But
it's too cold. Too cold.
I was
in
thinking
Tennessee.
about, and I would love to ask you, because I feel like you were really close to, you were kind of like, you were one of the pioneers, because I know there are several out there, I'm not disrespecting anybody, but you were somebody who went from athlete to media, and I would witness you doing it while you were on Washington at the time, like going to ESPN and stuff like that. And that 2018 year, like, I didn't get the opportunity that I had in Washington. Usually in my situation, if you're a backup or you have that pedigree, somebody got drafted in the first round in my position, Rashaan Evans. And in my spot, you need somebody to go down to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
That never happened. Not that you're rooting for that, but when you're in my role, you need that to happen to get a shot. And when it didn't happen, and I was just a special teams and backup player, I kind of knew, like, man, I'm going to be on a 90-man roster. I'm going to be a minimum guy, no signing bonus. And I was kind of like, man, I am over this 90-man roster, recreate myself, try to make it 53, because I felt like I had that resume with Washington. I'm like, if anybody's going to sign me, they'll kind of know what my background is. So that's when I really started to think November, December. I was like, man, I got to figure out what I'm really into, because when you're in the league, and I'm sure you guys have so many young athletes that watch this, but when you are in the opportunity and the fire is hot, your jokes are funnier, you're better looking, and you can shake more hands. So I knew in my situation that whatever I want to do, if it was podcasting, because I did have aspirations of doing a podcast, I needed to do it now while I still have the opportunity of being an NFL player. Because when you're on the other side of it, it just comes off differently, because everybody's looking for the next transition. And so when I approached Taylor about it, first, he was kind of like on the fence about it. And I remember driving, it was raining. I was going to do this Titans radio show. We were about to play in our winning in game or something like that late in the season, because Taylor, my wife, I had a couple teammates in the locker room tell me, like, yeah, hey, Will, you should do it. And that was kind of the validation I needed, because you want your peers to, when you come in and somebody's doing something off the field, you kind of want to be accepted and not made fun of about it. But then I remember asking Taylor, he was like, hey, so you really going to do this thing? He's like, I'll do it with you. And I was like, bro, that would be awesome, because you got your best friend doing it with you. It takes a lot of stress off your plate. It was going to be called The Den Podcast because of my fascination with wolves. Taylor always said working title. And we found the bus. We found the bus in a gravel lot. And this production company we were working with, Cardboard Films, no free shout-outs, boys. They're like, hey, what do you think of this bus? We turned it into a studio. This bus is out back, just sitting there, $2,000. And I was like, nah, I hate it, but I already knew the way Taylor is. I was like, he's gonna love it when he sees this. And
Fucking
sure
loved
enough,
it. I loved it the minute
When
I
he
saw
came,
it.
when he got back from training, because he
Yeah.
did leave for like 4 months, and I was like, fuck, bro, like, I want to get this thing going. And I was like, you're 100% in. He was like, yes. So I was like, I'll wait for you. And
That's
he came,
cute.
hey,
Oh,
he
you
came
had
back.
hello.
Yeah, Titanic. Forever. Yeah, Taylor saw the bus. He's like, man, I'll throw 10 grand into it. He's like, I think the bus is dope. I'll throw 10 grand into it. If it doesn't work, I'll just sit in my backyard because I think it's sick. He's like, if it works out,
I think it's awesome.
He's like, if it works out, how sick would it be? Like, we're just on a bus. I'm just like, I'm like a guy who always starts at no and finds my way to yes. But I was like, all right. And then sure as shit, dude, like, we ran a few pods, and now we're wrapped in Twisted Tea.
Did Twisted Kings.